Hello, welcome back to Board Games with Niramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here today with Drac, of course. We are excited to keep going on this top 100 games of all time list, and now we're getting into the really hot games here, for me at least. What are your hot games? What do you think about these games on the list? Tell me in the comments section and let's just keep going. So, number 40 is a game called Inish. And Inish is not my kind of game normally, I would say, but for some reason I like this a lot. First of all, what I like about it's a sort of dudes on a map and you're fighting each other in sort of the I guess like the Irish clans and so on. But what I really like about this one is it's a draft, like in many other games. You pass cards around and you're drafting cards, but I like the cards. They're really huge and thick, really solid cards, and also there's not that many of them, so you sort of learn them after a while, and one of them is always out every round, so you don't know if all the cards are there. There's like one card that cancels another player's playing of a card, so I like that one. And there's different strategies, because there's like 3 different ways to win. You can win if you control, like if you're in 6 different areas on the map. You can win if you're close to or like in areas that have like 6 sanctuaries, which is a building you can build. By playing a card, you can win by taking control of 6 other clansmen, so that, like, say another player has 6 guys in an area and I have 7, then I am in majority and I have control over those 6, and so on. But when you sort of get one of those win conditions, you have to sort of declare that I'm winning at the end of this round, and then other players of course get waken up to, oh wow, he's winning, okay, we have to stop him. Because in many of these games, sort of combat games and all that, I don't like it where, like, if I have to tell someone else at the table that they have to do something to stop a third player from winning. In this one, not that much, because everybody gets sort of notified that someone is about to win. Also, there's like a capital city that start out, and whoever is control of that is the Bren, is sort of the chieftain, and that's a tiebreaker. So if 2 players both have a win condition, then whoever is the Bren will be the winner. So then you need to have like 2 win conditions instead to beat that guy. There's a lot of exciting stuff in this one. The last time I played it, I won, and it was so tense. I was so sitting there and hoping that nobody would stop me and that nobody could figure this out. And I sort of tried to memorize what cards have been played, so that I knew that they couldn't do some stuff that would stop me, because they already played those cards. It's just so much fun with Inish, my number 40. My number 39 is a 2-player game that I hold very high in terms of 2-player games and in total as well. It's called Star Wars Rebellion. And in Rebellion you sit down for 4 or 5 hours, 2 players, and you pretty much experience the whole Star Wars saga. It's just so amazing. You have the ground troops on the planet, you have the ships, the X-Wings, the fighters, all this stuff, and you have the Death Star that can blow up planets. One player is the Empire, of course, trying to find the hidden rebel base before sort of time runs out and the rebels get too much popularity among the people. The rebel player is trying to stay hidden, have that base hidden, so there's a deduction in there as well. and you're basically trying to stall the Empire player, because you're so weak that you can't really win the fight outright, but you can stall and do diversions and so on, and you play these cards every round. Things happens, and you can, like the Imperial player, you can capture Leia and try to freeze her, you know, like they did with Han Solo in the movies. So much theme in this game, I just love it. That's Star Wars Rebellion, my number 39. My number 38 is a Euro classic game for me. I just love it. This is one of those games that brought me into the whole Euro scene, and that is Castles of Burgundy from Stefan Feld. And this one I did a video for, you can check it out. It was one of the first videos I did for the channel, actually, 2 years ago. And this one it looks terrible in some ways. The component quality is not good. It really needs a deluxe version. But what it does is it brings these awesome combinations and combos that I love, where you're trying to build your little tiles on your board and you're trying to build up your sort of kingdom or your Burgundy castles and the surrounding areas. But well, you can find these combos, so I build a building that lets me do something else, that lets me do something else, and finding these combos are so satisfying. So I love Castle of Burgundy. It's my number 38. And this did drop down. It was 22 last year, but there's so many good games. So my number 37 also dropped down from 43. Another Stefan Feld game called Jorvik. And I would say it's just a little bit better than Castle of Burgundy, but they are really close for me. Jorvik is a totally different game though. It's a sort of a auction game where you have a Viking village and there's ship coming in the village with goods. And the game is just a board and some meeples and deck of cards. But what you do is you stand in line. It's a really Swedish thing these days. You joke about that, like Swedes are good at standing in lines for waiting for things. And obviously the Vikings did that already, like 1500 years ago or something. I don't know, 1200 years ago. Anyhow, it's really fun where you set your Viking in line to be able to grab a card. Because if there's one Viking waiting for that card, then it's going to cost 1 coin. But if Draco put his guy there, it's one coin for Draco to get that card. But then I can put my Viking behind him in line, and then all of a sudden it costs 2 coins for Draco. Maybe that's, I mean, the money are really tight in this game, so maybe Draco can't afford it, so he has to go home, and then I'm left alone, and now it costs 1 coin because there's only one Viking in line. So this system is interesting because this is a game that I want to play on 4 or 5 players, because you have, I think it's 5 meeples, and you pretty much just pick up 1 or 2 cards every round. So the other ones, you just use them to make it more expensive for the other players. So there's a lot of nasty interaction in this one, more than I usually enjoy in games. But here it works out, and I just really like Jorvik. That was actually my first run through I did on the channel. Actually, check that out. The quality of the video is not that good, but it's fun to check out those old videos sometimes as well. So that was Jorvik. Now we go to 36, and that's a Viking game again. I like that theme. It's Raiders of the North Sea. This is a worker placement game that has an interesting twist to the worker placement, because on your turn you only have 1 worker, you always have 1 worker, and you place him out to do something. Then you take another worker back and you do whatever the place that he was standing on. So you do 2 things every time it's your turn, and then you have that new guy, and then you place him and do something, you take some other guy back, and so you're blocking these spaces, and you're trying to sort of build up your ships and your readiness to go out and plunder some monasteries, stuff like that, or villages. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and there's 2 expansions that I actually gotten, but I haven't played them yet. But I think if I play them, this might go even higher on the list, because it's a new one for the list, and it's Raiders of North Sea on 36. 35 is a game called Rajas of the Ganges, and this is a fairly new game as well. It came out last year. It's a, once again, worker placement game. One of my favorite, I think it is my favorite game mechanics, to be honest, along with drafting and some other stuff. But anyhow, you are in India, you're these Rajas, like chieftains or noblemen. You're trying to build up your little palace board with tiles, so there's tile laying also in the game, and you're building buildings, but you're also trying to amass money and fame. And there's interesting thing here is this: it's not a set amount of rounds, so that the game ends. It's a race. The game ends. There's 2 tracks, so you have money and you have fame. And when these goes around the board, and when they meet, the game ends, and whoever got in there first wins. Or if more than one got in there, whoever got furthest apart wins. So it's an interesting style of game there. I did a run through for this very recently, actually, and you can check that out as well. That's a game that I want to play a lot more. I think it's just awesome. I like it. And instead of having all these wood and stone and clay and all that, you have dice in different colors, and you roll them to see how much you have of it. So it's a bit of a luck, but it's just a small part of the game that luck. A lot of it is strategizing. So planning your moves. Raiders of the Ganges 35. 34 is a game called Rising Sun. Once again, a game that Draco loves because he wants to be a monster in that game. So this is the follow-up to Blood Rage from Eric M. Lang and Cool Mini or Not, or Simon as they're called these days. And in Rising Sun, it's Japanese mythology, and you have this board, so beautiful board, and you're fighting out there. You have gods that you're trying to please. You have these big monsters that you can recruit. It's really nasty monsters, just really scary stuff. And they are fighting out there. What makes this game so good is that, well, first of all, you have this mechanic of sort of I choose an action for my turn, and everybody else gets to do the action as well. but I get to do it a little bit better. And if I have an ally, they also get to do the bonus thing. So you want to have allies, and you can switch allies up, and you can backstab each other and so on. And also, I really like that you can't turtle up in this game. You have to move around because it's a set collection. When you win an area, you get sort of a token for that, and then you want to have different tokens at the end of the game. So you need to move your troops around and fight for different areas during the game. It's a bit long game, but I really like Rising Sun. It's so beautiful, and you can check out the video I did for that as well. So let's go to 33, and this was 32 last year, so it's it's really staying there, and it's 7 Wonders, and that's drafting the sort of founder game in my book for drafting, having these 7 cards in your hand. You choose one, you send the rest to the left or to the right, and it goes around the table. What's really nice about 7 Wonders is you can play up to 7 players, and everybody does this simultaneously. So it goes really smooth, and it's pretty fast playing even with 7 players. I just love that, and it's also quite easy for people to get into. There's some expansions, and that's nice. And also there's an expansion coming at Essenspiel here with Armada that I'm really looking forward to, where you have these ships as well, and you can fight people with those ships and so on. That looks awesome. So 7 Wonders is my number 33. Once again, you can check out the video if you want to. I don't know how many of these I can put up there, but otherwise it's going to be on the channel, of course. So then, number 32 was 23 last year, so it dropped down a bit, but it's an awesome game. All of these are, in my opinion, and that is Amerigo. Amerigo is a Stefan Feld game. A lot of Stefan Feld on this segment. Stefan Feld made a sort of, well, not unique, because there's a few like war games that use this, but there's a cube tower. So you have a cardboard tower, and you throw cubes in it, and depending on what comes out, because there's like stuff in the tower, so they get stuck in there. Depending on what comes out every round or every turn, you get to do different actions, and you're going to sail around the Caribbean islands. You're going to build outposts. You're going to sort of gather building material, gather bonuses, gather these like cotton and coffee beans and so on, and have like contracts so that they score a lot for you. And it's not just a tower, the whole game is just amazing, but it's really cute with this tower as well. I always find that fun to just throw them in there and see what comes out. So that is Amerigo 32, and once again, I don't think I can put a link there, we'll see, otherwise you can find it on the channel. It's a nice one. So last one on this segment is 31, and that is a sort of classic in board gaming and card gaming, and that is Dominion. And Dominion has risen. It was 27 last year, so it has gone down actually a bit, but compared to all the new games coming in at the top, anyhow, Dominion is just so good. And it's a card game, it's deck building. You're trying to, every game is different because you have different sort of cards out that you can purchase and find these. It's always like you put these cards out and you're trying to find a combo. What combo am I looking for? How am I going to build my strategy to get the points? And it's a race as well, because the game will end at a certain point where these high scoring cards have been taken. So you're always a bit stressed out to get the points before the game ends, basically. And I just love Dominion. So much fun, and there's a bunch of expansions. You can play this for years without getting bored of it, I guess. I haven't played all the expansions yet either. So that was my 40 to 31, and I just love all these games, and I mean, I hope you do as well. If you do, tell me in the comment section, or if you have any views on them and so on. It's always fun to have a chat, and don't forget to like the video as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening or morning, or whenever you're watching this. Take care. Bye bye.
Be like Draco. Follow Board Games with Niramas on Facebook at BGW Niramas. Board Games with Niramas is sponsored by Alara Games in Sweden.